Hey Leos, welcome to your reading where we will explore how you can best call in healthy romantic love into your life. Now, Leos, I'm going to say that your reading is off to a super interesting start because this is the second time that I have tried recording this for you. The first time I got as far as pulling out the oracle cards to see what energies are surrounding you. And as soon as I pulled out heart to heart conversation from the Romance Angels Oracle deck, I started choking on my words. Like I could not get them out to save my life. And when I went to go try and pull said life together, I noticed that there was one card from the tarot deck that had slipped out and fallen on the floor, and it was a strength card. It was your card, Leo the Lion. So for some of you out there already, I can sense that communication may be a little bit challenging for you when it comes to your relationships, whether that's expressing your expectations or what you need, what you want out of the other person, or expressing concerns when you have them, getting clarification. So for those of you out there who may have challenges speaking up, might be a good time to sort of work on that. But let's see if two times is a charm and we can get some messages for you. We're going to start again by pulling a couple of oracle cards just to see what energy is surrounding this reading. We are not going to take all of those. It's like, oh, okay, you couldn't talk before and now your cards are real chatty, Leo. So let's see what we can get for you. Thank goodness. All right. And okay. Well, we got two. First card, love yourself first. Your self-respect makes you more romantically attractive. And we also have keep an open mind. Your soulmate may differ from your usual type and expectations. So let's set those here. And then we're going to pull another. See what other energies are. Leo, really? All right. What other energies are surrounding my Leo collective for this reading? What else is going on for my Leos? What is happening for my Leo collective when it comes to calling in healthy love? And we have easy does it. There is no need to hurry or force things to happen. Everything is happening in perfect timing. Leo, I'm not even going to lie. Your reading is a little bit chaotic right now. There feels like a lot of sort of anxious energy. It's almost this feeling of something's going to happen, something's going to happen, something big is going to happen, something's going to happen. And I feel like there's a lot of mixed messages that are coming through for your collective. So loving yourself first, it almost feels as though for a lot of you, there have been situations where you have maybe tried to push things along. And I don't know if that's a byproduct of you feeling some type of way about yourself, or it's like, well, if I don't make this happen, then it's not going to happen. Like this other person's not going to do it themselves. It's almost as if there's there's a need for a sense of validation from the other person where it's like, I'm going to make you love me is how it's coming across. And it's like all of that force and all of that sort of need for validation is not a healthy foundation for a good relationship. I do think also that with the keep an open mind card, that you have this sort of vision about what your perfect person looks like, smells like, how they speak, like these kind of superficial things. And don't get me wrong, attraction is important when it comes to relationships. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise. Like if you don't like the way that Gollum looks, you're not going to be particularly happy in a relationship with somebody who looks like Gollum, right? But I think that it may be a situation where you are kind of rigid and unmoving in what it is that you want from another person in terms of superficial things. And so I think that spirit is saying, okay, first off, calm down, be easy. There's no need to force things when it comes to the right person. that there needs to be sort of a sense of security in you where it's like, you know what? I know that I'm enough. If you don't know that I'm enough, then we're just not a good match. And in terms of you finding that good pairing, you may need to sort of step outside what it is you have in your mind, at least physically and things like that, that you have previously been open to. And I think that Aries also got a similar message for their reading, that this was a good time for them to sort of expand their horizons. So let's get into some tarot and see what other messages come out for you. Now, I just had to pick up another card off the floor, and look which one it was. Again, the Strength card. So clearly, Leo, universe got some things to say to you. So let's start first by, something that you might need to work on in order to bring this love into you. And we have the Queen of Wands. So the Queen of Wands is a very fiery, very passionate, very excited type of energy. And so I don't think that, Spirit is saying for you to not be a vibrant person. I almost feel like they're saying, because the Queen of Wands, her fire can be real fiery, Leo. And so I think that ties into the easy does it card, right? Where maybe you just, maybe you don't want to be at a 10. Maybe you just dial it back to a 5, because it feels like sometimes your intensity might be a little bit off-putting, for lack of a better phrasing. We have that clarified by the Moon and the 3 of Cups. And so what it feels like is that behind all of this fire, that there may be a need for just sort of open and honest communication, where it's like maybe a little bit of vulnerability is what's called for. And I don't want anybody to confuse being vulnerable with being stupid or being a doormat. But being open enough to sort of lay out your expectations, like, hey, this is what I'm looking for. And I think that also it's going to be important for you to build a foundation of friendship before you sort of, go in whole hog, before you start, trying to make things happen, so that you get to know the person at their core and what it is that they're offering you, and figuring out whether or not that's something that you want to accept or something that you can sort of do without in your life. But working on, just sort of calming the fire a little bit, at least initially, and then working on a friendship and being open and honest and a little bit vulnerable is something that may help in this endeavor. So, an idea that you have about love that may not necessarily be the healthiest, we have the 8 of Coins. So the 8 of Coins is the worker card, right? It's somebody who does things over and over and over, sometimes almost obsessively, so that they can get perfect at their craft. And so I think that when it comes to love and romantic relationships, you may think that you have to keep working, keep pushing, keep grinding. And it's like, no. Easy does it. You don't have relationships at work, interactions with other people at work. But when you find yourself grinding to the bone for somebody or something, and it's still not fulfilling, then it might be a good idea to take a step back and reevaluate. But I think that right now, Leos, you're in a place where it's just like, no, I have to work. I have to do this. I have to do this. And we have the Page of Wands in reverse to clarify. So again, the Page of Wands is, when it's upright, they're a bit of a baby card. They're an apprentice, right? They're kind of a novice. And so this is like where there's a little spark, a little something. But it feels like for you, Leos, when it comes to love, that there's this thought process that if you don't keep working, if you don't keep pushing, that spark is going to disappear, that it's going to go away. And it's not sort of this what we view as a natural progression of relationships where there's an initial attraction and you get to know each other, and over time that attraction builds, but you get to know the person. It's like you come in punchy, like, oh, I gotta make sure that this fire's still going, and if I don't, it's all gonna disappear on me. And so I feel like you're kind of working yourself to the bone for not a lot of reward. And so having that mindset that you have to just keep grinding is not a good thing. I don't think it's worked out too well for you. And I think that for a lot of you, it's pushed your needs and your wants to the side. So you're not necessarily taking care of yourself first. Now, something that you can do to fix that issue of always feeling the need to work and grind, we have the hanged man. So in a lot of interpretations, the hanged man can mean that someone is sort of stuck, right? They're stagnant, they're in limbo. But the hanged man can also represent seeing things from a different perspective, looking at things through different eyes, through a different window. And so I think shifting your mindset, again, very, very similar to Aries reading, is going to be important for you, where you get to the place where you realize that in order to sort of have that happily ever after, to build that foundation, it's not going to require as much grind as you've been putting in. And we have that clarified by the Four of Wands. So really thinking about what stability looks like to you, what a good solid foundation looks like. You're going to have to sort of reframe that thought process in terms of the physical attributes of the person that you ultimately end up with, the thinking behind having to work so hard to keep the fire going. This is not a one-sided proposition. Like it takes two. Somebody got to bring the wood, somebody got to fan the flames. Like it should be a partnership. And so sort of resetting your mind is going to be important for you to be open enough to allow love into your life. Now, the best way to accept that, and I love this because we have the Ace of Swords. So this is my Truth to Power card. It is very thoughtful energy, but it's really about communication. And so I think that a big part of you accepting this type of healthy love into your life, Leo, is going to require you being very open and honest, not just with the other person, but with yourself about what it is that you want, what it is that you deserve, and what you're willing to put in to this. And so I think that, in the past, there may have been expectations that you've had of another person that they're not aware of, or you feeling some level of discomfort that you didn't verbalize. And so things may have kept going until it just absolutely imploded. So making sure that you put yourself in a place where you can communicate is going to be important for this. And we also have that clarified by the Hermit in reverse. So I think part of you getting out and opening up and being accepting of love, this ties into keeping an open mind. With the Hermit, it's someone who is sort of very traveling on a solo path, right? And if you can see in the card when it's upright, this person has a lantern. It's a very dark night, but you notice the lantern has this sort of very narrow focus, right? So they can't see too much of the path ahead of them, just sort of one step at a time. It's very limited. And so I think for your reading in particular, Leo, the Hermit being in reverse really means sort of broadening that light. It's coming outside of this narrow path that you've been on and opening up, keeping an open mind, broadening your horizons in terms of the people that you interact with. So, pushing your own boundaries, getting out there, exploring, meeting new people. is going to be super important, I think, for you allowing this type of love into your life. Now, why you're worthy of having this type of relationship, of having this healthy love, we have the Ten of Cups and we have the Queen of Swords. You deserve happiness. That's what the Ten of Cups is all about. It's like the ultimate. It's like, ooh, we're complete. Why wouldn't you be worthy of that? Right? It's something that I think as innate beings that we can achieve in life. Now, granted, there's some bullshit that comes with getting there, but that's a part of the human experience in terms of learning and growing and figuring out who we are, evaluating who other people are. But happiness is our birthright. We were not put on this earth, I don't think, just to be unhappy. And with the Queen of Swords, I do feel like, Leo, as you've gone through these experiences, you've started to come into your own, that you are very much working on finding your voice. You're not stupid by any stretch of the imagination. But I think that at some times your desire to have a relationship really overshadows your ability to advocate for yourself. And I think that you're learning that lesson. May have been a hard road to hoe, child, but I think that you're getting there. So you deserve happiness. You're finding your voice. And that's all there is to it. There's nothing else that you need. So in terms of finding someone who is ready for the same type of relationship that you are looking for, Leo, we have the Five of Coins in reverse. So this, I think, is for you just as much for the other person. The Five of Coins, when it's upright, is about feeling a sense of lack. It's someone who is on the outside looking in. And I think that once you sort of get out of that space where it's like, I don't have this, I don't have that, and you stop feeling the need to sort of force things along, there's going to be this openness that comes. And that openness is going to invite in other people who are more aligned to this new energy and mindset that you have. So this person is also going to be looking for a bit of a safe haven. They've sort of been on their own journey on the outside looking in, and they're ready to find this safe, warm shelter. And that safe, warm shelter is going to be you. We also have the Nine of Wands in reverse to clarify. So this is the Wounded Warrior card for me. This is someone, again, who has they've been through some bullshit, right? And they're still standing. They're coming out of it. They're recovering. They're stronger. And I think it's almost like you all's paths are converging, where you have been on this journey of finding your voice and realizing that you don't have to force anything, that you don't have to work so hard for a relationship. And similarly, this other person has been through some things as well. And so they're on their own path to recovery, but they're also, again, looking for that safe, loving space that they can land in. And I do feel that you two are going to be brought together as your healing journeys progress. So let's pull another message from Spirit and see what other guidance we have from my Leo collective. And we have physical touch. A tender touch can mean so much. So I think that when you do meet this person that may be a little bit outside of the box that you have envisioned for yourself, that there is going to be a physical attraction. Perhaps not in the way that you thought you would have towards someone else. It's almost as if you'll meet this person and it's like, like, okay. So the first thing that popped in my head is like, you ever seen like those little hairless, scraggly looking dogs? And it's like, by all rights, they should be ugly as hell. But you look at them and it's like, oh my God, they're kind of cute. I'm not saying that you're going to end up with a scraggly, hairless person, but they're not going to be sort of your typical. And I think that there is going to be a lot of attraction. There's going to be a lot of affection there for you, Leos. And I'm laughing because it feels very, very cute. So open up a little bit. Make sure that you set your expectations. Make sure you take care of you and just go with the flow. Be a little bit flexible. And I think you'll be super happy at what unfolds next. So that's what I got for you guys. Like and subscribe if you enjoyed, and I'll see you on the next one.